Welcome to Conversations with the Commish. Today we're pleased to have with us the Director of Athletics at the University of Toledo since 2002, Mike O'Brien. Mike, thanks for being with us.
You bet, John. Nice to be here.
If you weren't a Director of Athletics, what would you be?
That's a great question because growing up in Iowa City, all I've known is working on a college campus. My dad worked at the University of Iowa for 32 years. In a previous life, I was a teacher. My first job was a sixth grade teacher in Carrollton, Missouri. So I would probably stay in that teaching realm.
What does a day in the life of an AD look like?
Well, the great thing about being an AD and why I think all of us enjoy our jobs so much is that no one day is the same. And there are plenty of meetings on campus, obviously donor relations and fundraising, personnel issues, financial issues, and so it varies from day to day. But and first and foremost, it's the most positive thing about the day is being with our student athletes. That's the best.
Who are the 3 or 4 constituent groups you try to touch, if not on a daily basis, on a weekly basis?
Our student athletes, our university leadership, our president, Dr. Gaber. We communicate often, and obviously, you know, the internal staff of the athletic department, and obviously there's a segment of donors throughout the week that I would touch base with as well.
How important is that relationship between the Director of Athletics and the President?
Oh, it's vital, and I've been very fortunate. Dr. Gaber is my third president, and everyone has a different personality and a different style, but the relationship with the President is huge for any exec on campus, and for me as the AD, it's very important.
You've served in leadership roles not only in your own campus, but as a representative of the Mid-American Conference. You've been a representative on the NCAA Council, which is the primary management group. You just came off that and were selected to join the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee. What does that mean, and what does that entail?
Well, I'm just getting started with that, but really excited about that. There's only 10 of us on a national level, and then obviously it's about the selection of the teams into the tournament and then the seeding, and throughout the time now it's becoming familiar with the leagues I was assigned with, whether it be the primary person or the secondary individual, and so I'll be watching a lot of hoops.
When I think of Toledo Rockets, I immediately flash to such a deep and long football history.
Right.
What's the key, or what are the keys to building, maintaining a thriving football program?
Well, it goes to the leadership, John, as far as our football coaches. We've been very successful. But they've kept the train running in the same direction. Obviously, Jason Candle's our current coach and is doing a terrific job, having won the league last year. And prior to that, it was Matt Campbell. And so we've had a nice run of coaches, and they've kept it going. And our facilities are good. We have 45 suites, and not to put any pressure on Jason, I'll talk about our product. It has to stay good so we can keep the 45 suites full. Getting back to the revenue piece. So, but I credit our coaches for recruiting the right type of student athletes to be successful.
What do you look for when you're hiring a coach? What goes into that?
I'm really into fit. Whether it be fit for our department, fit for our campus, fit for the community of Toledo, Northeast Ohio, what have you, Northwest Ohio, excuse me, and so I want to see the type of person that's a good employee first and foremost. The knowledge about his or her product or his or her sport is a given, but I'm really into how's this person going to work with me as the AD and then others within our staff.
Before coming to Toledo, you served at Kansas State University.
Right.
Got to work with one of the more iconic football coaches in the country, and a gentleman who really rebuilt the program at Kansas State, Coach Schneider. What was it like working with Coach Schneider?
Oh, I have the utmost respect for him. He's terrific and an incredible gentleman, and what he's done for the university and the little apple called Manhattan, Kansas is amazing, really. And the thing I learned from Coach Schneider is the attention to detail. He takes nothing for granted, and he's very detail-oriented, but at the same time is really a class act. I enjoyed him a lot.
What are the biggest challenges you face?
Oh, I think most of our challenges, John, being a group of 5 AD, would be the financial issues. You know, there's never enough. We continue to try to sell more tickets and more sponsorships and raise more dollars, and so much of it's financially driven, and obviously getting the right personnel in the package too. So, but probably the finance piece.
Beyond simply wins and losses, how do you define success?
Great question. I think the piece to me about success is what we're doing academically, or what anyone does academically. We're setting records. We've won the conference academic award 5 out of 7 years, and so that to me is success. And whenever I go out and speak to constituents, it's always about, first and foremost, the academic piece, and then hopefully we're making good social decisions, so the AD's not getting a 3 o'clock in the morning phone call, and then in turn we're not going to trick anyone. We want to win too. That's our culture, those 3 things.
How's your office structured?
I have a variety. You know, we don't have a huge staff, but Deputy Athletic Director Dave Notke as an example, and Kelly Andrews, our SWA, is here, and have on the internal team, as far as what I would call the senior staff, we have 10 individuals, and then we have various assistant athletic directors, a lot of graduate assistants that we want to give an opportunity for them to grow in our business too. And so I can't believe we have over 110 employees, not necessarily employees, but members of the team.
You know, you've been an AD now for a rather significant tenure. You've been in the profession, the enterprise, for a really significant period of time, which is an easy way of saying we're both kind of old. Where do you see intercollegiate athletics going? Where do you see higher education going?
Well, I think anyone getting into our business needs to be subject to change, because it is changing fast, and I say that and not as a negative thought, but it's moving very, very fast, as you know, John, being the commissioner, and I think there's some great days ahead. I think sometimes there's a little scary times ahead too, because I worry about somewhat the gap between the Power 5 and the Group of 5, but it is what it is, but we are at the table. And that's the key. And so I can't speak specifically as to where it's going to be in 10 years, but it's going to look different in 10 years. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be looking like.
It's funny, you sometimes read articles or hear people say, particularly as you look at the autonomous FBS schools, the non-autonomous FBS, the so-called Power 5 and Group of 5, and they say, well, why doesn't that group just go to FCS? Why not go to FCS?
Well, we like, and I'm talking, I can speak as a Group of 5 member, I'm not just talking Toledo. We like playing against the best and being a part of the best. And nothing against FCS, that's not my point. But while we are at that 85 scholarship level in football, we're going to stay there, and it gives us the opportunity to get tremendous exposure, whether it be ESPN, playing other Power 5 institutions, and so there's nothing like it.
Growing up, who were your heroes?
Well, I grew up in Iowa City, Iowa, and so first and foremost my parents, but I was around a lot of athletes at the University of Iowa. I'm not going to tell you who, because it'll speak to my age, but you know, as a kid growing up in Iowa City, a lot of Hawkeye heroes. But my mom and dad, first and foremost, a great family of a brother and 3 sisters, and so we're a very close-knit Irish family, and those are probably all my heroes.
Mike, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, John. Enjoyed it.